is Lawrence Lovering. I'm a field collector from Milan, New Hampshire, presenting my technical paper from the William Simmons Lab at the Maine Mineral and Gem Museum in Bethel, Maine, with Al Falster and the MP2 Research Group. The field pegmatite is a research site in the White Mountain Igneous Province, first discovered by Dennis Field while surveying flood damage. Hurricane Irene left a path of destruction and a trail of pegmatite to a large collapsed pocket of smoky quartz and feldspar. Closer inspection of these quartz and feldspar groups revealed micro-secondary barrels worthy of a DESA test offered at the museum. Each test revealed a broader understanding of an enriched and evolved site. Al Falster began work on analysis in 2018. He's been a patient teacher, generous with his time, and a good friend. Our paper today is the continued work on this new location. Thank you for the opportunity to participate. I have some slides here to help you familiarize with the abstract. This is Hart's location, and it's a good representation, but approximate. This is the White Mountain Igneous Province, central northern in New Hampshire. It's highlighted here in yellow and is host to several types of granites. Lafayette granite and Conway granite are two of the nearest. This is the intrusive dike from the original emplacement. The pocket, or the remnants of a pocket in the low central area, is where the most evolved parts of the pegmatite occurred. And at approximately 2 o'clock, in the upper right corner, was the occurrence of the schlieren, just about 3 meters apart. Small, but noteworthy. These are examples or illustrations of a schlieren and the evolved pegmatite. These are approximate and not true examples of what we found, but it does help you understand that the schlieren is the original melt material, less evolved, less complex, and over here the core pegmatite material more evolved, more time to form, and more complex in its composition as well. Mineralogy of the miarolitic cavities in the pegmatite, clearly more complex. Microcline is pink, albite colorless, transparent epitaxial overgrowth on the microcline. These are all things we outlined or highlighted and wanted to add to the body of knowledge here. Sodium-rich unexaled potassium feldspar, pressure quench orthoclase likely forms a thin film over the feldspar assemblage. The bertrandites at the more evolved position are transparent, twinning and trilling with danelite inclusions. Microlite, phenakite, muscovite, siderite, and replaced by hematite and goethite, quartz, albite, and microcline. And you'll see when we get to the next list, the mineralogy of the miarolitic schlieren, not nearly as complex. And that was also seen in the crystallography. The microcline is white, albite has an exsolution lamellae in the microcline, but not epitaxial on the microcline. Quartz, large danelites greater than a centimeter, a strophyllite, and late hematite or goethite. These are photographic examples of the two. The pegmatitic schlieren is much simpler, the white feldspar, and over here the pink feldspars layered with albite, heavy layers of albite, and a genus layer of bertrandite, the transparent bertrandites with the danelite inclusions. This is a close-up of the feldspars, the schlieren versus the more evolved part of the pegmatite. And these are examples of the danelites. As inclusions in the evolved part of the pegmatite, very tiny and very few, more numerous at the schlieren, and more basic positive tetrahedron. There was phenakite, bertrandite, and danelite, all down in the evolved part of the pegmatite. But they were noteworthy differences in composition and crystallography. This is again more examples from the evolved part of the pegmatite. Bastnasite CE, microlite, complex fluorites, and these are the conclusions that we felt were important to highlight. Even though the cavities in the pegmatite and pegmatitic schlieren were very close, there are distinct differences in crystallization and mineral assemblage, both occurrences indicating that the late stages of crystallization of these anerogenic pegmatites, small distinct environments play a role and follow their own routes in the late stages of formation. It's pretty well illustrated. A thin, clear layer on the microcline and albite is composed of unexolved sodium-rich potassium feldspar, evidently orthoclase, which likely formed during rapid quenching. Late-stage conditions in mineralogic cavities, especially in anerogenic pegmatites, typically have higher oxygen fugacity. This is indicated also by the replacement of siderite by goethite or hematite. It appears that the schlieren cavity has sufficiently high sulfur activity to initiate forming helbite group minerals, but oxygen fugacity was not high enough for alteration to occur. For danelite to form and be stable, high sulfur activity is needed, coupled with low oxygen activity, Zito enhanced in 2017, in the mineralogic schlieren cavity in the pegmatite. The most preserved danelite exists as inclusions in bertrandite. Masses of iron manganese oxide may be evidence where helbite group minerals were altered as oxygen fugacity rose. Accessory minerals include microlite, which is unusual in an anerogenic environment, but parallels the conditions in pegmatites of the Warsaw complex, observed by Al Foster in 2012.